Hello and welcome. You are live with Sandra at It's All About Choices. Every Tuesday, I have the pleasure, the honor of dishing out your daily, weekly nutrition news for your mind and your body and your soul. And I hope that you are having a wonderful day. I hope that your weekend went well. And I thank you for tuning in with me on Tuesdays live. And I also thank you for tuning in to the replay as well throughout the week. And for those who are tuning in live, I hope that you are having some lunch, you are breaking, and taking a little bit of self care. And for those who are both listening live as well as the replay, tune in, chime in, introduce yourself while we are going through the live as you join in, ask questions, comments, make jokes, anything. I love engagement. Okay. I want this to serve as a two-way communication so that you are getting what I'm giving you what you are wanting to hear about. Okay. So thank you for tuning in. We are continuing on our November theme, which is threefold. We're giving gratitude. We are shopping until we drop, and we are eating on the go. So these are some typical things that happen, that occur in November as we are leading into Christmas, as we are leading into the new year. And this week is Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving weekend, the celebration, the fellowships, the family, the fun, the food, and all that comes with it. And so, yes, you can indulge on Thanksgiving Day and not gain weight. That is today's topic. Yes, you can indulge on Thanksgiving Day and not gain weight. All right. And so, who doesn't want to fully enjoy Thanksgiving favorites? I mean, there are certain foods, right, that are only this time of the year. Seafood dressing is one of my favorites from that my husband's family makes, the New Orleans style, Kenner style specifically. And in most cases, we're eating these special holiday foods that occur at Thanksgiving, at Christmas. So yes, absolutely, you should enjoy it. Okay. I do not promote diets. So you do not have to exclude yourself or wait until the first of the year to try to get a handle on your eating habits. To me, I feel the best time to get a handle on that is when things are going on, whether that is the holidays, whether that is a birthday, whether that is a vacation, whether that is this big project at work, because guess what? That is life. And so we learn how to integrate the two, and therefore it doesn't matter. You're going to always stay ready versus trying to figure it out after the fact. So that inner gremlin says you won't have this food until maybe next year. So go all in, like eat it all. Don't even share. That's usually what a lot of us go through. But guess what? Okay. You don't, and I'm just as guilty. So you don't have to attack it that way. We understand that it is just a different day, but yet we can still conduct ourselves in a manner to where we don't have to overdo it and pay for it in January. And so I'm giving 3 surefire tips on how to avoid having to loosen up your pants after the big meal. Okay. Remember that nap after having Thanksgiving dinner? I remember those days oh so well. And so I am Sandra Golchi. For those who do not know who I am, I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist. I am a certified personal trainer and also your accountability partner. So as you are tuning in, logging in, please introduce yourself, say hello, give me a shout out, anything, just so I know that you're on so we can have some interaction. And my mission is simply to show people how to get food to work for them instead of thinking that food is the enemy or fearing what to eat, what not to eat. So I take joy in adding a variety of foods to a client's list because usually the list is so short of things that they think that they can eat. And so I open up this whole new window of opportunity in regards to food so that you can feel better, have energy, which is going to result in weight loss and keeping it off. And you just stepping into your highest level of health is what I like to call it, without dieting, without deprivation, without feeling uncertain if you should eat something or not. Okay. So it's about building habits that last for life and it becomes natural. All right. So gratitude, shopping to your drop, eating on the go. Yes, you can indulge on Thursday in the food, fun, and festivities. Okay. So my icebreaker question: how do you feel typically after eating your Thanksgiving meal? Okay. Some of us are there. Some of us have learned how to back off so you feel good. Some of us, we need a nap. Some of us, we feel sick. Some of us, we feel guilty. Or we feel other stuff. So if you have something else, let me know how you feel after having that Thanksgiving meal. Okay. Share. I would love to hear what the latest feelings are and where you are in your journey. And so let's jump into today's topic. Okay. How can you indulge and enjoy? And I will look at the comments. So post as I'm continuing to move forward, but still post your replies. Okay. Because sometimes it's a little delay. And so surefire tip number one is to avoid having to loosen up your pants or feeling like you need a nap after you eat. Do not skip breakfast. You heard me say this last week. You heard me say this the week before. You've heard me say this all year. Do not skip breakfast. Okay. It's very common for people to skip breakfast during the holiday season or because one, the schedule is crazy, and two, they want to save calories. Okay. And this cliche, the old cliche is true that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And that is not the best way to save calories. There's a way to cut down on calories, but you also want to make sure you got to give your body what it needs so that you can get through the day as well. So there's a way to do that without you going into that meal starving, because that's usually what happens. And trust me, you're eating way more calories than you thought you saved by skipping breakfast. Trust me. Okay. It never fails. Okay. And so eating a balanced breakfast boosts your energy levels. It revs up your metabolism, gives you real energy. Coffee is not the energy source. Okay. So food and sleep are the energy sources. So that's something that I work with my clients to make sure that that is the cornerstone, because it lays a foundation for all that comes, all the benefits that come after that. And so it revs up your metabolism and it helps you to prevent showing up at that Thanksgiving meal or any other meal. Okay. Remember, this stuff extends beyond the holiday starving. Okay. And so a balanced breakfast equates to getting calories from carbs. I'll repeat that. Carbs, which are fruit, your grains, your dairy. All that is very important and needed by our bodies. Lean protein, which most of us get in, but we don't get the other pieces, and heart healthy fats. All of that makes up our macros. And it's very important. Okay. So coffee with or without fruit or a protein shake or just fruit is not breakfast. We need to add some pieces to that along with your coffee. Okay. Still have your coffee, but coffee, keep it in its place. Okay. Simple as that. Just keep it in its place. And so let's talk about, so let's rewind. Let's rewind. What do you typically eat for breakfast on Thanksgiving Day? What did you do last year? Okay. What did you do last year? Or what do you typically do? I mean, it's a pattern. So what do you typically do? And here's an opportunity for some nutritional coaching. So post what you typically eat and I'll give you some suggestions. I'll give you some feedback. Okay. So I would love to hear what you typically eat for breakfast. How can we package that up so that we set you up for success and learning what that means? Okay. And so post your breakfast. And if you don't eat breakfast, then post that you don't. Okay. Very simple. Very simple. And hopefully the information that you hear today and you see other people post will encourage you and give you some ideas on what to include and what to start doing. So that's what this is about. This is about all of us learning and ironing, sharpening iron. Okay. Number two. Surefire tip to avoid loosening your pants or wanting to take a nap after you eat the big meal is don't save up calories for the big meal. Now, this is a piggyback off of number one. This is another very common mistake that people make during the holiday season and throughout the year. Okay. And but anytime there's an event schedule that involves, food, we typically want to cut back. Okay. But we got to be careful. Cut back does not mean avoid and eliminate. Okay. So we want to make sure that we don't set ourselves up for being vulnerable to overeating. And so you never want to show up to the table starving. Like as soon as you walk in the door, you like, where's the food? And the food's not ready and you're mad because it's not ready because you're starving. So you don't want to put yourself in that situation. You will eat more calories because your brain has been deprived of nutrients, primarily carbs, all day long. And so the goal to staying on track is to treat the Thanksgiving meal as if it is no different than any other meal. It's just different food. Okay. Know that you can pack leftovers. Know that you're going to enjoy. And you don't have to pick and choose and, I'm not going to have this because it's not healthy. No, you want to enjoy yourself. So you want to eat what you enjoy. And so you don't want to give food that type of power. Okay. And so you don't want it to turn into an all or nothing situation. You want to enjoy everything that is good to you. Okay. That's number one. You need to make sure that it's good for you, not for you, but to you, because it may not necessarily be good for you, but is it good to you? And that's what it's about. Okay. That's what it's about. This one day is not going to break the bank. And so understand that I want you to enjoy your holiday favorites, and I want you to understand how to do that. And so my clients, they typically fear going into the holidays, but I step them through and they realize, oh, okay, I ate my mac and cheese. I ate the sweet potato casserole, or I ate the corn souffle, or I ate X, Y, and Z. Yes, eat it. Eat the fried turkey. Eat it. Understand how, okay? And so let's post the next question. Post any comments that you have. Okay, I love this time of the year. I usually get a lot of feedback on this. And so, what are your typical hunger levels before it's time for the big meal? Okay, so what is your hunger level usually just before it's time for the big meal? Okay, are you going in ready to eat, which is what you want? Are you going in hungry? Are you going in starving? What I like to say, hangry, like you have gone beyond the limits because you have not eaten anything all day. Okay. And so, meaning ready to eat, that means you're in a good place. That's what you want. If you're hungry, this is also a good place, but we want to make sure that it's not borderline, you about to become starving. So that means you probably exercise some self-control, you ate some things, but we just want to make sure you're able to wait until the food is ready to be prepared. If you're not ready, if you're not able to wait, that means you're close to starving. And that's the danger zone. Okay. This is what we set ourselves up for overeating, because we've allowed ourselves to get too hungry. You're going to pile the food on the plate. You're going to eat fast. And then you're going to go into my third mistake. Okay. This is usually what happens when we eat too fast. We pile the food up. Okay. So reflect. If you're hungry or starving, reflect. Did you have breakfast that day? Okay. Did you have breakfast that day? If the holiday meal is in the evening, did you have lunch? Because we ideally should have had a lunch as well. So we want to be careful with how we're saving calories. Okay. All right. And so this leads into mistake number 3. Okay. Which is going back for seconds. So hopefully you're seeing a pattern here. We skip breakfast. We're not eating. We finally get a chance to eat. We pile the plate high with everything under the sun. We ate fast. And now we're in line getting the seconds because we did not give our brain a chance to register to our stomach, or our stomach time to register to our brain that we are full. Okay. So now we're in line. We're eating again. And here we are. So this is usually when we eat that second plate. Okay. And then now you're stuffed because now everything has caught up. You've caught up and you're stuffed. You feel sick. Sometimes you're mad. You feel guilty. You have all kinds of stuff going on. You're ready to fall asleep. You're ready to unbutton your pants. And so this is typically what happens. Okay. So I usually say after the first plate, even if you went through that process of eating it fast and piling it high, just sit down. Just sit down, talk, fellowship, have some water, give it 15 minutes. Give it some time. And trust me, either you've forgotten about that second plate or you realize that, oh, I've had enough. But if you go in armed and not starving, then you have the opportunity to survey what's there in the room, what's available to eat, and you don't have to pile it on high. And hey, you can have dessert too, because you have not overindulged in any one thing. So that's what we want to do. Avoid yourself from not being able to make sane choices because you are starving. Okay. So how do you typically feel if you're still going back for seconds? Because some people have gotten past that point where they don't do it. How do you feel after those seconds? Are you stuffed? Or maybe you don't even have seconds. Like I said, you've gone past that stage. Or do you feel guilty or something else? How do you feel? Okay. Because when you stuff, that means you know you overdid it. If you're feeling guilty, that means you kind of saying to yourself, well, I had no business. I know I had no business going back for seconds, but I did. And a lot of times what happens when you show up starving and you're ready to eat and you're grabbing the first thing you see, especially if it's a potluck, people show up late, right? And so they're showing up late with another dish. And you see this other dish and you're like, oh, I want to try that too. But you just ate a whole pile of food. So don't show up hungry so you can kind of survey everything so you can really get what you want instead of feeling like you're missing out. But always know you can pack a plate to go. A lot of times people don't realize that. Pack a plate to go. Don't feel bashful. And therefore you don't have to overdo it in the moment. Okay? Leftovers are your friend. Maybe. We're going to talk about that too. Maybe. And so I encourage you to wake up on Thanksgiving morning feeling joy, feeling excitement, and ready to enjoy fellowship, fun, family, all the food that's around, and just being thankful, right? Start your day off, I will say, as you should any other day, with a well-balanced breakfast. So remember, we should have breakfast every day. So stay on that routine. Avoid saving calories. Have your meals around, have something about 4 hours before it's time for the big meal. You need to eat something. So that way you're more armed to go in not starving. And you want to feel ready to eat, slightly hungry, but you should not feel lightheaded. You should not feel short-tempered. You should not have an attitude. You should not, all of that. You should be ready to eat. Stay hydrated. Okay? Stay hydrated. That is another big one. A lot of times we forget to eat or forget to drink throughout the day. So water, 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 stay hydrated, okay? And so the real question is, what do you eat before the Thanksgiving feast, okay? So a lot of different things that you can do, but to show my thanks, I have been posting recipes over the past several weeks and continue to, use those. Some of those are fun foods and some of those are meals, but you can get access to the several recipes at Action Choices. That's my Facebook group, or you can search on Sustainable Weight Loss with Sandra to get access to different recipes. And I also even have a 5-day meal plan where it has various recipes that you can make to kind of, okay, this is some things that I can eat that are healthy, good, leading up to the big meal. But there are many, many, many options. And so, and over the past few weeks, I've been showing my gratitude. You've gotten a recipe on chocolate almond bars that was around Halloween, the pumpkin and pear cinnamon smoothie, the apple pie pancakes, which are very good. And then last week was the vegetable barley soup. So you can also have that. And so definitely look at those replays. You can get more details about those recipes, but those are available to you. And then for this week we have a new one, pumpkin loaf recipe. And so I'm a sweet potato girl, but when it comes to this time of the year, I do like the pumpkin flavors because they're full of spices. They're full of things that make it taste really yummy, sugar, sweeteners, and things like that. And so they spicing it up. And so that's why we have a few of them on here with the pumpkin, because they usually have them tasting really, really good. But I am a sweet potato pie girl versus a pumpkin pie girl. But this is a loaf. This is a pumpkin spice loaf that's really yummy. And so that is something definitely want to give it a try to kind of go aside. And you can actually have this for breakfast. Have this for breakfast with your coffee. So that's something to add a little spice to things. And so give it a try. It's a powerhouse food. Pumpkin is a very powerhouse food, but the difference is we know pumpkin naturally is not very sweet. That's why many of us don't really care for it, but there's ways to doctor that up, and even in a healthy manner. But it's an excellent source of vitamin A, so eye health, fiber, potassium, so blood pressure, blood sugar control. So don't fall asleep on this one. Definitely give it a try, okay? And so post any questions, comments that you have. I look forward to seeing it. And if you do try the recipe, let me know. Let me know how you like it. Thank you for tuning in with this week's dose of your nutrition and wellness news for your mind and your body and your soul. And I am Sandra, your RDN. And this week, we're going to continue our 3-part theme, gratitude, shop to your drop, eating on the go. We're going to talk about after Thanksgiving, the day after. So that's another fun one. And what to do. And on that same topic, we're going to kind of talk about what do you do between Thanksgiving and Christmas to where you're not gaining 10 pounds. between that time period. So thank you for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day and be blessed. And I will see you next week. Bye bye.